Asakura Sakamoto was a disappointing release to me as he suffered from lame issues, such as the apron, as it got a major stress mark on it from posing the figure, which did hurt the look of it a lot to me. And then the accessory selection didn't match the price of it either. Shoot, the figure overall didn't match what it cost as it was definitely overpriced, which sucks as I have enjoyed the figure, but it's just not as good as what it could be. And that had me worried about Shin, because his promos honestly didn't look the most appeasing, and the price of the figure was high as well, so I had low expectations for it. But I like Shin, so I had to get that figure, and I do have it in hand now, so let's see how he really is. Starting off with the packaging, it's a really clean one. It has a bunch of bullet holes on it, and the color scheme matches the character very well. There's a big one on the front showing off the goods, then there's a series and character's name in the Sakamoto based font. Looks dope, but you already know it ain't dope. This is made in Vietnam print.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Crap. Hopefully this guy doesn't suffer because of it, but we will see. Fuck! Here's his bottom, and then here's the back of the box, showing off the figure some. So yeah, very cool box overall, and let's hope the figure is very cool as well. And after playing with this figure for a while, I gotta say, it's not a bad release, and better than what was expected, as I have had some fun with it, but it's definitely not a great one, as it does have its share of issues with it, which I'll address as the review progresses. But first, we're going to talk about the look of this figure, and I think overall, it's pretty good. It looks like Shin, as the likeness and proportions seem to be accurate, but he does look pretty bland and basic. Is that Tamashi's fault? Not really, because of the style of the series and how he looks in anime. And this fit for Shin isn't doing any favors either. I think this is like his first appearance attire. It's alright, but his hoodie look would have been really dope. But for what this is, it is fine, but I do have a few nitpicks. First one is how they did the jacket. It's not terrible, but the way it's split up is definitely a little weird looking. But I guess it does serve its purpose, as it's supposed to help the jacket not get in the way of poses, which is cool. But I do have an issue with it, because like on this side of the figure, I have a hard time getting this split piece to sit into its flap area, so it like pokes out, which is a little annoying to me. And now that I'm really looking at it, I'm not sure if it was even necessary to have the jacket split up like this, as it being in one piece, I feel like it really wouldn't have gotten away that much, you know? Maybe like a tiny little split at the bottom, but that would be it. So yeah, the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm really not understanding this. I don't know though, maybe the split does have its purpose, have the jacket not getting away of like sidekicks and stuff, but shit, who knows? So y'all let me know what y'all think. And then, I'm sure y'all can see the way the biceps will sit. Yeah, sorta gappy, and that's not a good look. And I'm sure y'all can also know what this can entail. Yeah, a weaker connection. Now, I will say it's not crazy weak, but every now and then, you might catch yourself with the arm popping off, which is not fun. So yeah, and I'm also disappointed with the lack of paint and shading. There's hardly any. Like, the hair's McDonald's looking. Some shading or some black lines would have been nice here. And then the clothes are just colored plastic, which is fine, but there's no paint or anything on them, so they're really bland. Only clothing that is painted are the shoes. They look fine, but they didn't continue to paint into the underside of the toe joint, so when you use it, you'll see the colored plastic of the top and not the brown bottom. I know it's not a major thing to point out, but this figure isn't cheap, so there shouldn't be any cheaping out. And it just feels like they were cheaping out heavily with this line so far. Like, bro should have came with some paint and stuff to match price. And then, what else is cheap and doesn't match the price is the accessories that he comes with. Bro's around 9,000 yen in Japan, which is around $60 USA, and this selection is not acceptable because of that. Like, his tray literally has so much empty space that it's insane and embarrassing. He first comes with 4 interchangeable faceplates: a neutral smiling face, a neutral serious face, a goofy expressionate face of him like shocked, and then a goofy expressionate face of him like agitated or disgusted. All these faces look good, and I really do like the goofy ones, as they are really fun to mess around with. But I really would have loved a teeth gritted or angry yelling face, or even a side-eyed one, as I feel like those would go well with this release, and I do feel limited some without those. And as for the hands, he comes with 7 options: 2 fisted hands, 2 open hands, 1 pointer finger hand, a trigger finger hand, and a cup-like hold hand. Fair selection, and with the hands, I did have an issue at first. Whenever I went to swap them, the hands will take the whole wrist peg at times, which did have me worried at first, but after some swaps, I haven't ran into that issue anymore, so be careful that it can happen, but it should be able to fix itself after a few swaps. Then lastly, he comes with a gun. It's clean and has a nice gunmetal finish on it. Also, it's not exactly the same gun that comes with Sakamoto, as there is some subtle changes. And that's it for the accessories. Not entirely satisfied as they don't match the price. Like, you should cost $35 for the selection and not $60 plus, and USA's easily gonna be $80 plus. It's not right, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying what he comes with is bad, I'm just saying they aren't enough to match the price of this guy. Personally, what I think would make the accessories a lot more acceptable would be like 2 more faces, such as an angry yell on her teeth gritted face, and then an alternative windswept hairpiece, and maybe 2 more hands. That would be more reasonable and make this guy a lot more fun and worth it, since the display options would be much better. At least you can have some fun with what it comes with, but it's not like $60 fun. So mid rating for the accessories from me, and let's see if his articulation is any better. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually thought his articulation would be complete buns, but it's not. The promos really didn't show off the best in my opinion, which did have me worried, but I gotta say it's pretty decent. But there are some things that are definitely holding it back and just flat out annoy me. The main and worst thing about the articulation is the head range. Its looking up range is not existent and so buns. Seriously, I wish I was joking when saying this is as far as he can look up, but I'm not, and this stinks. And if you even barely try to make him look up past this, his head and neck will pop off the joint. And it's actually like that no matter what direction you try to move his head in, it will just pop off when barely even pressed past its limit, and that's annoying because the head range it gets is mid anyways. Now with saying that, don't think I'm saying the head will just pop off for no reason, because I'm not saying that. It's not loose and it's on pretty securely, but I'm just saying if you barely try to move it past where it should, it'll just fling off like booyah. So be careful. Then here's the downwards range, pretty mid. Then it can look side to side fine and gets all and then gets decent all around head and it gets all around decent head tilt. Then what else I feel like some people would think is crap is the shoulder engineering and how it looks. They went with like that one piece line shoulder joint that they like to use, and it doesn't look the best. Now it does give good range, like it can allow the shoulders to go this far upwards, wiggle around and cross over one another going forwards and backwards. Of course though, be careful because of the weak connection here and arm can pop off. But the range isn't bad, but they didn't have to design it like this, because it just looks weird. I will say that it's really only majorly noticeable and weird looking when the arms are all the way up. Like when they're like this in like a punch-up pose or something, it's fine, so I guess it's okay. But y'all let me know what y'all think about the setup. Then he has a bicep swivel, which y'all are already aware of. The connection is weak here, so be careful when moving the arm like this. Oh, also sometimes the arm pops off from the shoulder. Nothing major, but it can happen. Then at his elbows, they get a decent bit of flexion, and then the wrist gets good range all around. Then for the torso articulation, I thought it'd be mid, but it's actually pretty good. Like the upper torso joint can crunch a decent bit forwards and backwards, because the shirt and stuff is a soft plastic material, so that aids in the range, which is great. Then it can twist side to side fine and gets pretty good all around tilt. Then below that, at the waist, we can see it gets good all around movement, and here's the figure's overall total forwards crunch, which isn't bad, and then the total backwards crunch, which isn't bad either. Then for the legs, they did something I wish they did with Sakamoto and all their releases, a soft plastic material crotch piece. Because this allows for insane leg range, like look at how far these legs can get forwards, it's awesome. And then the backwards and outwards range is awesome as well, so very happy with this. Then his thighs can rotate and wiggle around some, which is nice, but I will say this, I'm just now noticing how weird this looks. Like this area right here doesn't have to have so much space. Makes bro look like he's wearing some stupidly long boots. So I like them to make this area smaller and blend in better with everything. But then again, if you do fix his legs like this and how he's supposed to stand, it's kind of gone. So maybe it's fine. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Then moving on to the knees, they are double jointed and bent about this far, nothing crazy there. The ankles can twist some, go up and down a little bit, and then gets a pretty mid ankle rocker. And then he has a toe joint. So yeah, overall, his articulation isn't necessarily bad and actually allows you to hit some cool and dynamic poses with him, but there are many things holding it back. Primarily the head range, as it does hurt the posability with this guy, like this pose for example. I want bro to look up, but he can't, so that sucks. Also, there are some weird and interesting design choices, but at least he can pose, and that's what matters to me. So, that being said, let's do some figure comparisons. First, here he is next to SH Figuarts, Mr. Sakamoto. These two look and scale great next to each other and have been really cool to pose around together. Then here is Shin next to SH Figuarts Yusuke. Here he is next to SH Figuarts Luffy and Zoro. Here he is next to SH Figuarts Gon and Killua. Here he is next to SH Figuarts Team Gojo. Here he is next to Demon Knuckle Fit Goku. And lastly, here he is next to On Collectibles, Yujiro Hanma. So all in all, what are my final thoughts about this release? Well, I think it's a decent to almost good release, like a solid C-, simply because there are more cons than pros with this figure for me. First, with the pros, I think the likeness is good. It looks like Shin and it's replicated well in figure form. Just would need some extra paint and shading to really level it up, but this is still pretty good. And then the other pro I like is the way he poses, for the most part, as he surprisingly can hit some cool poses, and a huge part of this is because of the soft plastic material that his torso and waist is made out of. Great choice, and I love when companies do this. But that's sorta it with the pros in my opinion, and as for the cons, there are many. The first one being the poorly connected biceps. Doesn't look good how they sit, and they can just pop off from time to time, so be careful. Then the head range looking up is bad, and it'll pop off if barely pushed too far, so that's a bummer as well. And I guess you could put the way the shoulders are designed in there. It's something that like majorly bothers me, but it does look weird, and as a design I'm steadily growing displeased with. And I'm sure that there's others that just absolutely can't stand it, but if you're one of those that don't really care, then you're good. And then one of the major cons for me is the lack of accessories. Shin isn't cheap and should have came with more. So overall, as I've said, this is like a C-, almost good figure. But as stated, I have actually had some fun with it, and I do enjoy the figure, and I've loved having it displayed with my Sakamoto. I just don't think its retail is worth it. But thankfully stores like Hobby Genki have marked them down to below retail, and that's great. So recommend copping from there if you want them. And even with my many gripes, I still feel like if you are a Sakamoto Days fan, you will enjoy this figure as well. But just be aware of its issues. And that's it for this one, guys. What do you guys think about this line so far? I feel like I've been really harsh to it, which is sad because I've actually enjoyed playing with these figures a lot, but I gotta point out the issues and the fact that Bandai's charging a premium price for these guys. If they were like 44 to like 6,000 yen, then these releases would be a lot more passable, but they aren't, so I gotta judge them accordingly. But yeah, thanks a bunch for watching. Your guys' support is so greatly appreciated, and I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see all y'all in the next one. Peace.